In this video, I want to go ahead and demonstrate a couple of new features in Rebelle 3 that are going to be really great workflow enhancements. In order to showcase that, I want to use an image that I painted in Rebelle 2 that would have benefited greatly from these new workflow enhancements. To begin that, I want to come over here to the navigator and I'm going to go ahead and zoom in to about here. I'm going to go ahead and click and drag in order to frame my document up to this particular portion so that I can begin to paint into the detail areas of this while zoomed in. This is something that you often want to do when you're finishing a painting. Now, to some degree, we can use the navigator to view the composition as I'm painting in a zoomed in view. However, this is less than ideal because of the box that you see here in the navigator. We need to know where that is so that we know where we are in the scene because we use the navigator to navigate around in our zoomed in views quite a bit. So it's very important that we don't mess with the navigator, but at the same time, we do want to see the overall composition as we're painting in our detail view. So if we come over here to Window, we come down here to Preview, you're going to see that we have a new panel that does exactly that. If I grab this arrow here, you can see I can scale this to be whatever size I need it to be. And if I have a second monitor, I can even go over here to this icon and I can drag it over and then click that icon to maximize that so that it fills the entire screen. And then I can have a full monitor preview of this document as I'm painting. Now you can see here that I'm using a red color and I'm using a pastel. So I'm going to begin to stroke and I'm going to go ahead and hold down at the end because I want to point out something to you. If you look in the preview panel, you'll see that that stroke has not appeared yet. As soon as I let off of my stylus, you can see the stroke is finalized and now it appears over here in the preview. So the preview is not an instantaneous type of preview. It requires that we finish the stroke before we see it in the preview. But here you can see I'm painting in a detail view. I'm seeing the final composition and how my strokes are going to impact that composition. And like I said, this is a great workflow enhancement. Likewise, if we want to come over here to Window and open up the reference image panel, we're going to see something very similar. However, here we're going to need to load something. So if I click the arrow, you can see that I can load an image. I'm going to go ahead and load that image right there. Likewise, we can scale this guy up just like we did with the preview panel. And we can also hold down the Z key on our keyboard. And if we go ahead and drag to left or right, we can zoom in or zoom out until we get precisely the zoom we want. Then we can click and drag inside of this reference image panel to place this wherever we need it to be in order to match our actual painting. So in this way, I can see my reference, I can see a zoomed in view of my painting, and I can also see the final composition all at once. And like I said, you can also drag this guy over into a second monitor and use this icon to maximize it and have a full monitor version of your reference image as well. And if you're lucky enough to have three monitors, you could have one of each. So the idea being one monitor for your reference image, one monitor for your preview, and then be painting in your main monitor. And that's something that only a few people have, but if you have that, then obviously it's something that you probably want to take advantage of because these are great new features in Rebelle 3. Now that said, we have one additional feature here that can be really, really useful. If we come over here to the flyout menu, you can see that we have the option to view this in grayscale. So we can see our values. And we can also view our document the same way. So if I come over here to view and I choose grayscale, you can see the document values exactly the same way. So here I'm seeing my reference in value, I'm seeing my document in value, and I'm also seeing my final composition in the preview in values as well. This can be really great for doing underpaintings or drawings, but it can also be useful for finishing your paintings where you want to judge your values and see if you need something to be lighter or darker without the color interfering with your ability to see the values accurately. Once you're done with this, we can come over here to the flyout, turn off grayscale, come over here to view and turn off grayscale. So we're back to viewing color for everything. And we can come over here to the flyout for the reference image. And we can choose to remove that reference image if we want to load a second reference image, or we can just simply come over here and choose to close there. If I click the X on the preview window, you can see I can close that. And now that I'm done with this document, I'm going to go ahead and close the document. And then in the next video, I'll have a brand new document open and ready to go.